Hello, Joe here from Infiniti of Tacoma. Today I'm going to tell you about this beautiful 2019 Tesla Model S long range that we have for sale. The Model S is one of Tesla's oldest products. I think it was 2012 or 2013 the Model S first came out, and it basically revolutionized the electric car industry. For a while, people were approaching EVs as economy cars. They were saying, well, let's make an EV and make it cost effective, and basically they're like little econoboxes that weren't that much money. But, you know, you had the Nissan Leaf, which was one of the first battery electric vehicles that was affordable, but only had a 75-mile range. Tesla, they decided to do a different approach, and I think the approach worked with Tesla. You know, they had the Tesla Roadster at first, but the Tesla Roadster wasn't completely Tesla. It was actually based off a Lotus Elise, and then Tesla converted the Lotus platform into an EV. The Model S is the first complete ground-up EV made by Tesla. And with the Model S, Tesla went a different direction. Instead of, you know, trying to make a cheap, affordable electric vehicle, they said, we're going to make one of the best performing cars in the world, and it's also going to be electric. It's going to be a premium luxury sedan to compete with like the S-Class Mercedes, BMW 7 Series, and that's exactly what they did with the Model S. It's a big luxury sedan. When this was new, this was probably well over $100,000, and it is definitely way up to luxury car standards. It's quiet, the fit and finish. When I drive one of these, it's like driving an S-Class Mercedes. It's almost like, I call it an electric S-Class. That's my nickname for the Model S. I don't know, maybe that's why they call it the Model S. I don't know. But anyways, it's absolutely beautiful. And we have this long-range version for sale. It's a one-owner clean Carfax vehicle. We actually bought it from Tesla. It was one of their trade-ins. Tesla only sells a handful of used vehicles. The majority of the used vehicles they take it on trade, they sell at auction, where we buy a lot of their trades. They have awesome trades. Tesla's more interested in selling, you know, a few like used vehicles like certified pre-owned, and mostly new cars. They're very busy building and delivering new cars, so they don't have much interest as we do in the used car business, which we have a very big pre-owned business here at Infiniti of Tacoma, and we do lots of Tesla business. Right now I have 12 Teslas in stock. So this is not an exact duplication, because this actually has a larger wheel and tire package. And with any Tesla or any EV, the bigger the wheel and tire package you have, the more rolling resistance you have, and you will pay a little bit much as far as range goes. So this is a similar Model S, 2018 Model S long range, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 3.7 seconds, top speed 155 miles per hour, EPA range 373 miles. I think with the upgraded wheel and tire package, you'll probably get a EPA range of probably about 340 or 350 miles, which is still awesome. In fact, that's still one of the longest range electric vehicles that you can buy. Really the only other vehicles that you can buy that can have a longer range than this Model S would be a newer Model S long range, which has about a 400-mile range when fully charged. Or you could buy a Lucid Air. Those just came out. They have a 500-mile range, which is awesome, but they're also $180,000. And good luck finding a new one, because they just went into production and they're making them in very limited numbers. So, compared to everyone else, there's not too many other EVs that you can find right now, even brand new ones that offer a 350-mile range. So back in 2019, it was quite remarkable. And then obviously looking at the performance numbers, not only is this a fuel-efficient vehicle that's going to save you money on gas and also money on maintenance, but it's also going to give you blistering performance. You're going to be faster than probably most other vehicles on the road. So 2018, Tesla decided to make the premium upgrades package standard in all their Model S's. So 2019 included. So a lot of features that earlier were optional are now standard. We have a beautiful interior. Tesla does not use leather any longer in their vehicles. I think 2017, I don't know, I'm not going to guess. I think 2016 or 17 was the last year they actually used real leather. Now they use a synthetic material. It feels just as good, looks just as good, and it might be a little bit more durable than the real stuff. And if you do, you know, care about, you know, animals, I guess having synthetic leather would be a little bit more preferable. Then let's take a look at the software. So full self-driving gets a lot of press these days, but full self-driving is still in beta. So even if you have a full self-driving equipped vehicle with the software, you still really can't, you know, use it unless you enter the limited beta program. And if you do get into the limited beta program, they want you to keep your hand on the wheel and pay attention while the vehicle is driving. So it can do some self-driving stuff, but you have to pay attention. Eventually, I think they'll solve full self-driving and they'll get to the point where the car is completely responsible for driving, and you can take a nap, you can work, and that will be amazing. We're not there yet, but the good news is that this has a full self-driving computer. So when they do crack full self-driving, this vehicle has the hardware to operate the software, so it doesn't need any hardware upgrades like some earlier Model S's or Model 3s. This one's ready to run the full self-driving software. If you decide to upgrade to it, you can subscribe to it, or you can pay for it. And they also released enhanced Autopilot, which is a little bit cheaper than full self-driving, but it does give you some of the extra features you can get now with the full self-driving, like park assist, navigate on autopilot, smart summon, auto lane change, things like that. We have 53,470 miles on it. This one has a sophisticated air suspension. I mean, it's really sophisticated. You can really take a lot of control over the, you can set the dampening of the suspension, the ride height. Quite amazing, and look at all this data that you can get too. I haven't seen any other vehicle with an air suspension that would give you this amount of data. It is quite remarkable and really cool. This is the charging menu. Charging is really an amazing aspect of owning a Tesla, because they have this amazing supercharging network. There's no one that can really touch the supercharging network that Tesla has. They have 30,000 superchargers throughout the world, the majority in the United States. In fact, where we are in Fife, Washington, or Tacoma, Washington, probably most people not outside of Washington doesn't know Fife, Washington. Tacoma, we're in the Seattle-Tacoma area, but where we are, there's 2 superchargers within 6 miles of us. Supercharging is very, very quick. I think they've made some upgrades to the supercharging, so you can get a full charge in about 35 to 45 minutes. Good example, I was in a Tesla Model 3. I went to the Supercharger with about 20 miles of range, and then I had to go to the bathroom, so I went to the supermarket, went to the bathroom, came right back, and the vehicle was already at 100 miles. So it just goes to show you that the level of charging and supercharging is second to none. It is quite amazing, and this is really an amazing product. So Tesla doesn't recommend that you charge the lithium-ion battery to 100% all the time. So they actually give you this little slider right here where you can adjust the charging. So if you're going to go on a road trip and you want to have maximum charging, you can set the slider all the way to 100%. That's fine. That's not going to hurt your vehicle for every once in a while if you want to charge it to 100%. But for daily charging, Tesla only recommends that you charge it to about 80 or 90%. That will give longer life to your lithium-ion battery, and it also will charge a little bit quicker. The way batteries work is that the fuller they get, the slower they charge. So you'll notice if you have an empty battery, it'll charge really fast, but as the battery fills up, the rate of charge will slow down. So that extra 10% sometimes can take an extra 25 minutes, half hour, just to squeeze that little bit more electricity inside the battery. So there's a lot of different options for charging. You can, plug in a regular 110 outlet. Not the most efficient, that gives you about 5 miles an hour of charging. So, like, I took a Model Y home overnight. I plugged it into my outlet. I don't have a fast charging at my house. I added about 80 miles of range overnight. But you can upgrade to like 220 charging, where that can add 20, 30, 40 miles of an hour of charge at your home, or in your, you can set it up in your garage, or have an electrician set up like a pedestal if you can't attach it to your house. So lots of cool features there. All right, and then we have Autopilot. So, like I said, full self-driving, gets a lot of talk, but Autopilot is really the secret sauce. Autopilot is traffic-aware cruise control. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's on this vehicle. Tesla's constantly updating it. So auto steer allows the vehicle to brake and accelerate within its own lane, and it allows it to steer with it. So Autopilot allows the vehicle to brake and accelerate within its own lane, and it also allows it to steer within its own lane. So, this is a system that's mainly used on the highway. I can get this system to be used on back roads. Here's a video of me driving a Model 3 on Autopilot on back roads. You have to wiggle the wheel, pay attention show the vehicle you're paying attention, or the vehicle will shut off the autopilot. And you have to understand too that autopilot's not going to slow down for corners. So if you have autopilot at 40 miles an hour, a hairpin turn at 50 miles per hour comes up, the car's not going to slow down. That's why they say autopilot is really supposed to be used on the highway. But if you do pay attention and you can shut the autopilot off or slow the vehicle down, then you can get it to work on back roads like this. But you have to be diligent, you have to pay attention and be ready to intervene in case something happens, the car gets confused. 90% of the time the car is fine, especially on the highway. But if you do use it on back roads like this, you are going to come up with a little bit more issues. I don't really recommend it unless you become really familiar with the system and you really pay attention. But on the highway, stop and go traffic, autopilot's an absolute godsend. You know, as a used car manager, I have the ability to, I don't get to take cars home, but if I have to run errands for the store, I can pretty much drive whatever I want. And I often find myself taking Teslas of autopilot, especially when I have to drive on the highway, just because it seems like every other car is just more work to me to drive. That's basically what it comes down to. I love Teslas. I can go on and on about how much I love Teslas. I love all sorts of cars, but I don't like to, I don't like to be, stressed out driving on the highway. It's one thing if I'm in a, Corvette driving on some curvy back roads or something like that, but when you're in stop and go traffic on the highway, nothing can beat the convenience and comfort of a Tesla of autopilot. It is quite amazing. So we have the auto steer. You have this big navigation screen. Oh, sorry. All right, so we have this big navigation screen, really crisp display with these Google Maps. If you do want to find supercharging, we can use this button right here, this little lightning bolt, and these are all your different charging. You have level 1 charging, level 2 charging, and level 3 charging. So level 1 charging, like destination charging at hotels, it's not going to be the fastest. Level 2 charging is going to add about 30-40 miles per hour of charge. But then the supercharging, that's the fast charging, it's going to add about, you're going to get a full charge in about 35-40 minutes. So, and you can navigate to the supercharger. Here's a little Tesla tip for you. Even if you know where the supercharger is, always navigate your vehicle towards that supercharger, because the car will know you're about to supercharge, so it'll start preconditioning the battery for faster charging. So that's just a little Tesla tip for you. I think it definitely works. So whenever I go to a supercharger, even though I know where I am, I always navigate towards them. You have this really nice crisp backup camera. Then you have also fun stuff like you have Netflix, Hulu, YouTube. With premium connectivity, you can stream data to your vehicle, so you can watch Netflix, go on the internet, you can stream music. Of course, you have these video games. They're all constantly doing over-the-air updates, giving you more video games, more features. You have the silly whoopee cushion. I was driving a Y today. My daughters are absolutely cracking up over this whoopee cushion. It's just kind of hilarious. It's just to watch my 2-year-old laugh and crack up. It's almost worth buying a Tesla just for that. All right, I have a tendency to get long-winded on these videos. Man, look how long this video is going. But there is just so much to talk about with these vehicles. I just can't help it. I'm gonna have to edit it down a little bit, I think. Beautiful color combination. The Model S is an absolutely beautiful vehicle. Absolutely stunning style. And you might notice that they really haven't changed the way it looked over the years. Don't mess with what's not broken, right? It's already a beautiful vehicle. We can all agree about that. But also the Model S is also one of the lowest drag coefficients vehicles on the road. So even though the basic design was designed about 10 years ago or longer, it's still very functional today. And so the brand new Model S's, they've made some small tweaks. Obviously they made a big tweak to the interior with like the yoke steering and stuff like that, but the exterior of the new Model S's are very similar. And with these upgraded wheels, some people might even think you have like a Performance or Plaid. Quite amazing. You have a completely flat floor, allowing for lots of interior space. You don't have transmission tunnels or drive shafts, so it allows for a nice spacious interior. I'm 6'2". I have lots of headroom, legroom back here. You have this big panoramic roof panel, glass roof panel for lots of natural light. It's very well tinted too, so it does a great job cutting down on UV heat getting in. And the nice thing too about the S, it kind of looks like a sleek sedan, but it's actually a liftback. And being a liftback, it's a little bit more practical. You can see it's a little bit easier to, you know, put stuff in and out versus a regular trunk. But you can also fold down the rear seats for more cargo space. And also look at this, since this is not a conventional car, usually you'd have a gas tank right here, you have more space for storage. And likewise, since you don't have an engine in the front, you have a frunk, which also gives you additional storage space. Also a safety feature. Can't talk to you. This is also a safety feature. Normally, if you have an engine here, in certain frontal collisions, the engine can get pushed inside. But with no engine here, you have a crumple zone that's about 60% larger than a gas car. So you have all that space to absorb frontal crash energy. This is actually one of the safest vehicles on the road, one of the lowest rollover risks, and they are very reliable. You know, people ask, oh, are EVs, you know, reliable? Well, it's 2022. We're actually halfway through 2022, July of 2022. The Model S has been out since 2012, so there are plenty of high mileage examples out there. In fact, there is actually one Model S, a 2015, I think P90D, that just went over 1 million miles. And there's examples with 200,000, 400, 500,000 miles. Obviously, some of these vehicles have had, you know, multiple you know, electric motors replaced. Some of them have went through 1 or 2 battery packs. I'm sure the one with 1 million miles is probably on its 2nd or 3rd battery pack, but it just goes to show you this is a very robust, very well built vehicle. It's not going to fall apart and start disintegrating. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's proven to be more reliable than many of its gas engine competition. If you're looking for one of the greatest, most luxurious electric vehicles on the road, one of the longest range EVs, check out this 2019 Model S long range dual motor. Very impressive. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon and have a wonderful day.